Welcome, everyone, to Session 0 of Alien First Law. Graham did great work there.
Yes!
Uh, this campaign is going to be a bit unusual because I have asked everyone if they want to play synthetic characters. Actually, I feel synthetics is something we inherited from Fallout. Because
They do call them synthetics in the second Alien movie.
Do they?
It's really fleeting.
Right, yeah, because I think Burke calls...
Yeah, Burke is just like, it's routine to have a synthetic, and like that's the one time they use that word, I think.
Yeah, and Bishop says, I prefer the term artificial person myself.
Just that great awkward smile. It's like...
But that is the conceit for this. You are all playing artificial people, synthetic humanoid, or synthetic individuals, they are also referred to in the book, androids, on the distant colony world of Corbinek, which is the planet's name. You'll remember in Alien, the planetoid was LV-426, and when they came back to it in Aliens, it was called Acheron, and the colony was called Hadley's Hope. So this has like a number and letter designation, but the world's name is Corbinek.
How is that spelled?
Corbinec.
See, I thought there was like K's in there, but...
And I can give you a colony name, but I was hoping that maybe you would help me develop it, since you were all part of the initial colonists.
Yeah.
The initial colonization is one of those big colony ships. We see it in like Alien Covenant, where it has like a flight crew in hibernation, and then various experts who are woken up in waves, basically, as new people are required to get things online. Currently, the population is about 60, made up of about half construction workers. The atmosphere processor is up and assembled and working. The power's on, and it's started working, and it usually works pretty good. The colony has been established for about 10 years, and people are starting to really develop a sense of like strong community. And hopefully, if they can get the atmosphere stabilized, they will be able to start waking up more people. And the hope is that very soon they will start being able to bring online the what I have decided is called the Easy package, but which has like a variety of vulgar names. The embryo zygote storage facility. And people will start being able to start have children. Otherwise, it's a mess. This place sucks. Morale is somewhere around low, because nothing is working correctly, really. All colonies have teething problems. This one's having more than usual. And it's slow going. The weather is miserable. Usually when you go outside, you have to wear like not only a breathing apparatus, but like something that actually covers your face. The temperature is fine. The atmosphere isn't going to corrode your skin, but you can't really... There's not enough oxygen in the area. And it's cold and rainy all the time. And like the fine grit gets into everything.
Oof. It's just like thin air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For this setting, do synthetics require oxygen to live?
You know, I was looking through the book for that, and there is no ruling. Let's say that yes, you do, because everything we've seen in the films seems to support that, right? Even if, like, I didn't really like Prometheus, but David still had to wear like a spacesuit, right?
Or a duffel bag, you know.
Yeah. It's synthetics are real tough in a lot of ways, right? You can survive damage that would incapacitate a human or kill a human, and you'll still be fine.
Yes, I can hear you.
But otherwise, yeah, you are remarkably fragile in a lot of other ways.
A diamond is real tough unless you hit it at the right angle.
Mm-hmm. So, Usually in Alien, we start off with professions or jobs, occupations. You're broadly speaking your character. And on Korbanek, the game has many character classes. On Korbanek, you're looking at like colonial marshals, who are kind of like cops but are security people, essentially. I don't know why, but it is consistent throughout all the films and movies, or films and movies, both kinds. Comics, secondary media. Everyone is armed to the teeth.
Well,
It's kind of weird, but like it's supported in the text, so we're going with that.
Space America.
Yeah.
There are medics because you will need you need a lot of medical people, like whether they're doctors, nurses, or techs, because you have a lot of people coming out of hibernation who require like medical support. You have what are called roughnecks, who are like the mechanics and construction workers and like people who do a lot of heavy lifting and operate all the machinery. That's like half of the colony. There are corporate agents, one or two, but they will have a support staff. They are in charge. There are ship's officers who will be the rough equivalent of like foremen or administrators, and a couple of pilots for moving ships. There are also scientists who are in charge of things like geology and stabilizing the atmosphere. As synthetics, it is important that you are not socially recognized as having all of the authority of any of those positions. You are kind of like down on the social ladder and off to the side a little bit.
Oh, we're
right?
interns.
Basically, but you are kind of always off in the assistant role. Like if you are a corporate agent, you will be an executive assistant socially, right? Even though you have all the same skills and all the same abilities as that class. If you are a medic, then you will be something like a laboratory technician or a nurse rather than like the surgeon.
Right.
So I believe a couple of you, when we spoke, had ideas of what you wanted to start off with.
Yes. My basic idea was to be one of the hands helping to try and stabilize the atmosphere
Okay.
and
Do you
work
want
on that whole thing.
Do you want to approach that as like a scientist, or from a more mechanical, like, or a more like hands-on approach?
I was thinking the person that moves the scientists to where they have to go.
Okay,
So-
right.
And then
right.
helps them do their work.
Okay, so you can start off then as like your I should actually know what the term is they use. Your career.
Yeah.
Do you feel a scientist fits that then? Do you have the scientific and technical knowledge, or are you more of an administrator?
I was thinking probably close to administrator.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, you might be a ship's officer. That would put you in like give you the ability to issue commands to people and operate computers. Ship's officers have comtech, which is a pretty important skill in the game, which is what allows you to like get in, like hack. Or you could be a company agent.
I'll think about that while other people state their intentions as well.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah. I said, I was talking to Ian about it, and he was like, recreation administration, which would, in general, be like scheduling activities for the group to stay fit.
Play dates.
And
Yeah.
play dates and things, but in like a more bare bones setting, maybe that could be like physiotherapy or triaging, like medical.
That
I
sounds
think medic
great.
sounds like a really solid angle to
Yeah.
take.
Yeah, medic sounds like the ideal skill. So, if you're ready to start putting numbers on a page,
Yes.
you have 4 stats. basically. To start off. No, you have 4 stats. Not to
Strength,
start off with.
agility, wits, empathy.
Exactly. And you have 14 points to distribute among those. The stats are listed from 1 to 5, like 1 being worst, 5 being best, but I believe you can't go above 4 to start with. However, as a synthetic, we will be modifying that afterwards. And as a medic, your key attribute is empathy. And that means that your empathy can be higher. When you create your player character for campaign play, you may assign no less than 2 and no more than 4 points to any attribute. However, you may assign 5 points to the attribute listed as the key attribute for your career.
Get it.
We all fell asleep. We're all conscious.
The gears are turning.
Yeah,
I'm just writing down numbers now.
Oh yeah,
exactly,
that's
exactly.
fine. Alex or Andy, do you have any thoughts?
I would love to hear what Andy has to say, being the one of the newcomers to the campaign.
I was sort of going to go off of whatever, fill a hole where if people
Okay.
needed me to put up, but we've got a
The old
medic.
Amigara fault routine.
Yeah, we've got a medic, and we've got a Matt's still deciding on what he would like to do. Well, I would like to know more about why this colony is set up on this planet. Is it resource extraction? Was it just we needed?
Yes. It's colonies have to have a raison d'etre. Some of them are like set up strategically. The United Americas. There are 2 major nation states in the Alien universe. One is the United Americas, and the other is the Union of Progressive Peoples, which is kind of like a Soviet Union analog.
Commies.
Yeah. And so they each kind of went their separate directions in space, but are like eyeing each other warily. Some colonies are like set up strategically in order to leverage position, that kind of thing. Others, most of them are for resources. Korbanek is here because a large amount of platinum was discovered here.
Very
That's
cool.
a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like the idea of some poor schmuck has to make sure the atmosphere machines are working. I'm vaguely interested in these roughneck characters.
Okay.
That might be fun.
Yeah, like the film example of roughnecks are right. Right. Why do names just get deleted from my brain?
They're not useful.
Cosmic rays.
Yeah, clearly. The 2 mechanics from Alien.
Oh no! Not me too!
It's
Where did it
contagious.
go?
Parker and
Brett. Parker and Brett
Oh,
are
thank
like the
fuck for that.
examples of roughneck characters.
Holy shit.
So you can have like you might be like you might be a construction worker, right, who is expert at like lifting things, or you could be somebody with a lot more fine motor skills and a much more specific skill set, right? Like colonies require plumbers, electricians, all flavors of modern construction, and they also require all kinds of high-tech construction as well, or high-tech maintenance. IT people, people who maintain like the fusion reactor, right? Like you all those people kind of fall under roughneck, from nuclear engineer to construction worker.
Wow, excellent.
I mean, you're talking about filling a hole. This is actually probably going to work well with what I had in mind, because I wanted to contrast what I played last time, which was a sort of I was a former colonial marine, and I thought doing somebody with, I guess, who like works more with their intellect than their gun.
Sure. Yeah. Well, then I guess this person, if it's a job meant for a synthetic and not a living, breathing person, I suppose it'd be good for this character to be put in very dangerous places. Like, they're not expendable. They're very expensive machines. But there's we need this person or this entity to be in this incredibly narrow, dark space for 4 hours and not go insane. Sort of put in those sorts of places. Yeah. So it'd be fun if this was a character who gets the worst jobs, the worst grunt work that is either a little too dangerous or a little too monotonous.
Or too stressful.
Too stressful to be, let's say, standing on the edge of a lava pit, like making sure the temperature doesn't go up and just holding a thermometer going, or whatever the appropriate sci-fi equivalent would be. So it's the worst jobs.
A friend of mine in university had this job where he got a summer job at the mill, and his job, he described it as sitting in a chair and watching a shoot. And his instructions were, make sure nothing happens to that hole. Make sure that hole doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And he would just sit there staring at it, going like, how can a hole go anywhere? It's the absence of space. Right? And that was his summer, but it paid well.
You just had this like philosophical conundrum for a summer.
Yeah. So, okay, Roughneck is a great fit for that.
Okay. Cool.
So once again, your your 4 attributes are strength, agility, wits, and empathy. You have 14 points to distribute between those. They can be between 2 and 4, except for your key attribute, which for a Roughneck is strength. That can go up to 5. And then, as I said earlier, synthetic characters modify those stats more later on.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
It's probably worth mentioning now that one of the more interesting mechanics from the game, stress and pushing rolls, do not apply to you. You cannot push rolls, if you remember that from Heat Death, Cori and Alex.
Yep.
And you do not acquire stress.
Intriguing.
And to compensate for that, you get to add 3 to 2 stats.
Ooh.
So
the skills or to the attributes?
To the attributes. You are literally superhuman.
Yes. Are we still limited to like 5?
It can no. This can take you above that, at least as far as I understand.
Human.
Wow.
I think you can go up to 7. Do. This is spread out across 2 things. Yes. Can reach a maximum score of 8 in the key attribute and 7 in another.
Wow.
So you can actually have like superhuman empathy,
I'd love you.
which I thought was
so
really
much.
interesting.
That is really interesting. That'd be really hard. Remember playing Disco Elysium and empathy just making it very hard to do your job because you have to like tell someone that someone is dead.
Yeah, and sometimes you just like look at a can and start crying.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's such a good game. I finished it last month. We could talk about that for hours. Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, Nate.
So-
So sorry, Alex. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was thinking scientist for my
Okay.
character.
Absolutely. Scientist's key attribute is wits. So, once again, 14 points between 2 and 4. Your wits can be up to 5, and then you add 3 to 2 of them.
I feel like the idea I had coming in of my character works better as a pilot than a companyman.
I was going to suggest that. That would be
Yeah.
sweet if we had a pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually brilliant. Okay, Matt, then your key attribute is agility.
I'm noticing a career talent is reckless. I'm sure that will only be an asset.
Did you? What was the minimum for these statistics? Was it 2?
2.
Okay.
And sorry, I was reading the pilot description and making that choice. What were the numbers to play around with, Cameron?
You have 14 total
Yeah.
to distribute between 4 stats, minimum 2, maximum 4. Your key attribute can go up to 5, which for you is agility. And then you add 3 to 2 of those stats.
Like 3 total or 3
No, 3.
each?
Add 3 each to 2.
Okay.
So you could have 1 at 7 and 1 at 8.
Powerful. I'll be the fastest droid alive-ish. We're not sure if they're fully alive yet.
That has all kinds of legal implications.
Yeah.
Once you are all comfortable with that, we can move on to the next step of character creation. Does anyone have any questions right now?
I just want to make sure I'm getting my numbers right. Excuse me. Because what I'm looking at right now is strength 3, agility 4 plus 3, wits 5 plus 3, and empathy 2.
It should be you. Since you have 14 points, you could have 2 at 4 and 2 at 3, or 3 at 4 and 1 at 2.
Well, I put
Start.
1 at 5 because that.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah,
1 at
he's
5.
statistic.
Yes. Yes.
Five.
Then that is totally accurate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you had 3, 4, 2, and 5.
Yep.
Perfect.
I'm efficient. I figured it's just like there's probably somebody who has to go and take atmospheric samples and compare them to the rest of the samples and draw like configuration data out of that.
Yeah.
Just like less carbon,
Actually-
more nitrogen.
Now that I think about it, do you require oxygen? I think you require atmosphere to not blow up or not suffer tissue damage, but I don't think you need to breathe.
Interesting.
I think that's how you described it in Heat Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we don't like being depressurized because spledge.
Yeah, your soft tissues are no tougher than human, right? Like your chassis is pretty, like you can absorb a lot of punishment, but your cells, or what you have in place of cells, still burst in vacuum.
Gnarly.
Oh. I got my 4 core stats then.
Yeah.
All right.
Me too.
Like I think the standard array is 2, 3, 4, and 5.
What about 6, 5, 3, and 3?
Ooh.
What about 8, 7, 3, 2?
Accurate.
I've
I
got
have
that
an
as well.
extremely important Android question. Do we need to, or can we eat?
You can eat. I don't know if you need to. In
'cause,
Heat
like,
Death,
if-
I played around with the idea that, like, in Ghost in the Shell, Bato has to eat, like, those weird burritos. Right? That are, like, android food.
Android chow.
Yeah. Because, like, you should need an energy source of some kind.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna say what I'm thinking. It's like I need those apple squeezies, or I'm gonna not want to play.
Oh, yeah, you can eat.
Fantastic.
Totally. Like, androids pass as human, right? They might seem like weird humans, but they eat, right? They excrete. They
Yep.
can sleep.
Only gonna be milk for me. Only milk.
Only milk.
Yeah, Carnation Instant Breakfast.
Oh,
We have, like,
hell!
strawberry flavored milk.
Oh, it's
every
so
day.
gritty.
I'm gonna be strawberry flavored on the inside.
Cori, you're making my like saliva glands cramp just saying that. I spent many summers
Yeah.
drinking that garbage as actual breakfast, and it sucked. It's awful.
All right. Are people feeling comfortable with that step?
Yeah.
Apart from the Carnation instant breakfast, yes.
Extremely
At least, like,
comfortable.
I mean, maybe there's, like, you said strawberry, maybe there's, like, chocolate, like, it can be, like, quick.
Oh yeah, there's strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla.
Oh, you know what? It's
And
like
mocha.
scented that way for the benefit of other crew members, but it has no flavor additives at all.
Oh.
It's so horrible.
It smells like strawberry.
It's just like, oh, can I try some? I advise against it. It's like, this tastes like pure gasoline.
Yeah, gasoline and a 9-volt battery.
It is not recommended for human ingestion.
Good thing we're not
through their
humans.
stomach lining.
Also, just for everyone's benefit, if we don't get all the numbers on the page tonight, that's totally fine. We can work that out later. I'd much rather get out of tonight, or what I want to get out of tonight is an idea for who your character is as a person, and then we can, like, get all the fiddly bits nailed down during the week.
Sure, yeah.
The next thing I'd like to do is actually not from the book, but I want to talk about your character's appearance a little bit. And, like, naming as well. And if you don't come up with anything right now, that's totally fine again, but it is something that I want to start you thinking on early. One technique, or the technique that I found that a GM did for me that I found very helpful, was the question, if this was a movie, which actor would play your character? And I posed this question early, and some of you had answers for it.
Yup.
So maybe we can talk a bit about what your vision was for your character.
Alex?
I mean, I figured this out pretty quickly, just because I was like, oh, I know. Tilda Swinton as the Archangel Gabriel in the movie Constantine.
Yeah, we have no
It's like,
choice but to
perfect.
stan.
If
like,
you could pick
yeah.
that, why wouldn't you?
I'd also like to float the possibility that maybe two of you are the same model line.
Oh, hell!
I don't know if that's a space you want to play around in, but that's something
We're just
that could
all
happen.
different
Just
Tilda
all four of us
Swintons.
in the same one.
All different Tilda Swintons, yeah.
She
I
has
already had
range.
an
She
idea,
can do it.
but
They got a lot of mileage out of that licensing.
But, like, the idea of, like, I know it was a joke, but the idea that one of you is Sinclair.
That's really fucked up.
It reminds me of, like, I don't know if you've ever read The Divine Comedy, but at one point he's in, like, the bottom of hell. And he runs into this one guy, and he's like, when did you die? Yeah, I saw you up on the surface, like, last week. We were at a dinner. And he's like, oh, I've been down here for years. That's
No!
That's a demon running around in my body.
Oh, no!
I sold my soul years ago, right? And this is a real person. This is like one of his political rivals.
That's
Wow.
fucked up. Wow.
Sweet.
And he's so mad. It's great. She's like,
that's
"Oh,
how you write an allegory.
Jiminy Christmas.
Like, it's an impressive piece of libel? Slander?
I think they call it a diss track.
Oh,
In today's
dis,
terms.
like the city, like the.
Oh,
the-
really?
Yeah,
So
New
good to
spin on
have
an
you,
old
Andy.
favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't do this nearly often enough.
Oh, hell.
So Alex picked a very striking image for their character. I had the idea of Diana Rigg, but I had a choice in mind, an option, or two options.
Oh, yeah, which Diana Rigg?
Do I use Diana Rigg from, like, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, or do I use Diana Rigg from Game of Thrones?
I feel like there's a very important third option you're leaving out.
I mean, yeah, there's so many options. There's a whole panoply of Diana rigs.
I think we're all supposed to be kind of roughly middle-aged, so
Yeah,
unless
like
there's something wrong with you that makes your face all wrinkly.
I mean, the androids we see in the films are generally that kind of timeless middle age
Yeah.
of extremely well cared for Hollywood actors who looks like they subsist on a diet of truffled virgin blood. Right? Like these are all very beautiful people, but they are in a kind of ethereal middle age, right?
You're between 40 and 55, and no one knows exactly where.
Yeah. Or you look vaguely like a teenager that has been aged to like mid 40s. Right? Just one of those people who are kind of youthful, but you can tell that they're firmly in adulthood.
Yeah.
That ain't right.
You know, like he's in the new young Pope,
Jude Law
Jude Law, right?
He's a handsome man.
hasn't changed
Yeah.
in 20 years. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's a synth.
They all look kind of like people that at least I would trust to water my plants if I was going away for a month.
Yeah.
But I would maybe not ask them to babysit. Right? Not because I think they would do anything to my kids, but because I think it would be hard on them.
Right.
That's at least what I get from those people.
Yeah.
Right?
I find this task distressing.
So I guess closer to earlier Diana rig then.
Just do Avengers.
Like, just
please.
I'm just gonna
do
say Emma
Avengers.
Peel.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say that the Weyland-Yutani Corporation did not license the appearance of famous actors from their estates? Or whose estates, in an act of really unforgivable thoughtlessness, didn't get legal protection for their
None of you are allowed to be the hologram of Tupac. Okay.
No, he stays a hologram. He has a kid with Hatsune Miku.
Yeah.
I just want the next time that they have a Prince hologram turn up, for them to for the hologram to come up, the hologram to turn to look at the camera and say, "Computer, Arch," and then the transmission cuts out.
Oh, to be on a couch with a longtime Star Trek fan
Yeah.
as they just flinch right out of their skin. It's like, no. That's
But if anyone could do it, it would be Prince, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's the prince, you know.
Just do. Suddenly he's Moriarty.
Yep.
here's a disturbing visual. All the Roughnecks being Arnold Schwarzenegger, no Austrian accent.
Oh, like in Terminator 3?
Maybe?
Yeah. It's this gag where they have a mock-up for the guy giving the presentation is like, yeah, we have some ideas on what they want to look like, and it's a young Arnold Schwarzenegger with this weedy Silicon Valley voice. And he's like, I don't like the voice. And
Wow.
the technician working on it turns to the character and says, "We'll work on it." Right? with Arnold's voice.
If you can
That's
put that
silly.
joke in, I mean, do it, right? Any ideas, Cori or Andy, for your lookalikes?
I was thinking with this kind of guy. I'm reading Eric Idle's autobiography at the moment. He was talking about always look on the bright side of life, and he recorded it the first time, and it was sort of all right, but it was missing something, and what it was missing was what he referred to as a Mr. Cheeky voice, which was I think it was the audio text on Life of Brian. There'd be horrible conditions. Everything was going wrong. The things were falling apart. Things were late. We'd have these guys who were just very optimistic all the time, and they were just, oh yeah, no, that's late, that's broken. What can you do about that? Oh, We'll figure it out. We've got duct tape, you know. We go, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And so he sang that with that voice, and it sort of worked. So I think it'd be cool to have him as like Bob Hoskins, just compact, small, and very affable. Even things are going to crap, you know. It's all right, you know.
Yeah.
I think that and it give me my opportunity to do to work on my Cockney accent.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Do you have a name for your?
Not yet. I'll think about that. If that's
We don't
found
need.
that- Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that we don't need names right now, but I wanted to get the conversation rolling.
Yeah,
Sure,
get the gears
right.
turning.
The impression I got from synthetics in the Alien universe is that they all have like single names that aren't necessarily human names. Like you have Bishop and Ash. What are the other ones? I mean, they're all
David, Walter. Although in
those
Alien
are-
Resurrection, you did have Annalie Call
Yeah, though she
because
was,
she
like,
was
really
posing as a
undercover.
human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I think I'm landing on Judith for mine.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's a
Yeah.
good one.
You know, break their pride by a woman's hand. You know.
Oh my god, that's Judith's music.
My celebrity reference, I think, is going to be Rachel House. Just because I've been thinking about Hunt for Wilder People a lot. She was also in Thor Ragnarok,
Oh,
and she did a voice in Soul and Moana. But just in Hunt for Wilder People, she's just like, no child left behind. And it's like, she's awesome.
oh, I like that a lot. Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Because I'm a giant dork, I'm almost thinking like some sort of like obsolete unit of scientific measurement.
Ooh, oh, I like that a lot for a name. Yeah,
You know, like something like Ronjan, but something else. It
yeah.
could even be in current use because there's like gray.
That's really good.
It's just like gray in the context of absorbed dose.
Yeah.
So I might look at that. Although that might, I mean, I might have gotten it in one.
Gray is a really good name.
Yeah. With an E or an A?
An A.
Because we spell it the American way. I think that's how that works.
I mean, gray is one of the few words where I actually prefer the American spelling.
Whoa.
I just like the A over the E.
Oh.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Coulomb. Pleasure to meet you.
So while that is percolating, and if it's not a distraction, we can talk about skills.
Okay.
But we should probably do right now is take our break. It's roughly on the hour, so we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Hello and welcome back to session 0 of Alien Heat Death, where we are doing character creation. I'm Cameron, your game mother, and I hope that you all had a very lovely break.
Ian brought me this beer. He says it's called the Raised by Wolves, but there's no milk in it.
Oh, it's not a milk stout?
No.
Also, we're doing first law, not heat death.
Yeah.
Oh, first law, right, yes. My bad.
The first law is to remember the title.
I guess maybe whenever I say alien now, I just say heat death immediately afterwards.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you're the game mother and that is your firstborn.
Yes, exactly. It is my baby.
Okay,
Yeah.
mama.
So, anyway, does everyone feel comfortable moving on to skills?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Each profession, each career, has 3 linked skills. You have 10 points to spend on the skills. 10 points to spend on starting skills. 9 of which must go into your 3 linked skills, and 1 can go into something else. So, just going through alphabetically, I could start with medic for Cori.
So my skills, key skills, mobility, observation, and medical aid.
Yes.
Are there limits on the range?
Between 0 and 5.
Okay. And then 9 of those points have to go to those 3 skills.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 3s across the board. Very easy.
All right. Matt,
Hello,
for pilot,
yes.
the linked skills are piloting, ranged combat, and comtech.
I feel like a 2 in Comtech. That leaves
Piloting
7.
and ranged combat. Yes.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna put a 4 in ranged combat,
Okay.
and then a 3 in piloting. That should
Sounds
add up.
good. And then you'll have 1 more point to spend on something else.
Yeah.
Andy, for roughneck, your key skills are heavy machinery, stamina, and close combat.
Okay. I think I'm gonna put a 5 in stamina. And got 9 points here. Let's do 5 in stamina, 2 in heavy machinery, and 2 in close combat.
Sounds good. Alex,
Yes.
as a scientist, your key skills are observation, survival, and comtech.
What does survival involve again?
Well, let's look it up so I can give you a precise answer. Survival is linked to wits, and let's see. Terraforming can make the atmosphere on alien worlds passably breathable, but it will rarely make them Earth-like. You might be able to breathe without a pressure suit on such worlds, though you can also expect to struggle against extreme heat and cold, sandstorms, acid rain, and other extreme weather. Roll for survival when you're in a hazardous planet-side environment of some kind and need to figure out a way to stay alive.
Yeah, I think I definitely want to spec into survival quite generously. And
Okay.
remind me on Comtech again.
Comtech is using computers. And, importantly, it is also the skill that allows you to heal.
Oh, yeah.
Cori, that's probably something also I should have mentioned.
Oh, which
You, as synthetics, you don't use medical aid to heal. You use Comtech.
oops. Oh well, I'm putting my last point in stamina.
Okay. I mean, there will be a lot of people who require medical aid.
Look,
if you have
I'm
points in
here
it.
for the important squishy people, not these other loser robots.
Yeah.
That's most
And-
unkind.
I promise you, if you put skill points into it, and it is important to your character, we will use it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, because survival's appealing just because of the nature of what I kind of envisioned as far as doing scientific work as it relates to atmosphere processing.
Mhm.
It seems like the kind of thing that I would be not I feel I could see my character spending a lot of time outdoors
Mhm.
doing checks and investigation, and it's if you can't handle that, you're not going to be able to do your job very well.
Exactly.
So
It is also worth mentioning that the book wants us. This system will not require a die roll unless failure is meaningful and interesting.
gotcha.
You will not be rolling dice for every single kind of trivial skill check like you would in D&D. Skill rolls in Alien bring with them the possibility of things like stress and like catastrophic failure. So
Okay.
one thing I had to do in Heat Death was break myself of my need to have everyone roll anything or
Yeah.
everything.
Well, how does like 442 sound? Like 4 observation, 4 survival, 2 contact.
That sounds good.
Yeah, let's do that. That seems gooder.
And then you'll have one more point to put into any other skill.
Let's have a look at what those are.
Yeah,
What page can those skills be found on?
64.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, sorry, you have 9 points,
Oh,
Alex.
in that case, 322. Sorry, 342.
342. Sounds great.
It's 9 points plus 1 for an unrelated thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see.
So there are only 9 skills, and I can just read them out here. Heavy machinery, stamina. Well, heavy machinery is for using, obviously, heavy machinery. Stamina is kind of like how tough you are. Close combat for melee combat. Mobility, which is your ability to like move through challenging environments. Piloting, your ability to fly aircraft and operate vehicles. Ranged combat. Observation, how good you are at noticing things. Comtech, your ability to use sophisticated electronics to reprogram computers, perform maintenance on synthetics. Survival, your ability to survive in hostile environments and find shelter. Manipulation, your ability to get other people to do what you want them to do. Medical aid, healing. Command, which is an interesting skill which you can use to stop panic, give orders, and you can act as a force multiplier on your team.
Terrain sucks here. I'm going to take mobility.
Sounds reasonable. Andy, you also said that you were kind of the character that gets put into like tight spaces, and mobility might be good for you.
Yeah, I was thinking either that or survival, which seems more character right for that.
I think mobility has more to do with moving through man-made spaces, and survival is more about natural environments.
Right.
But I'm also not going to brick your character if you if you take one or the other. I'm not going to be like, aha,
I've got you now.
I
you
think
fool.
as I'm playing around with, I'm trying to think of a name for this guy, and I'm trying to play with the word canary to
Oh, that's
to try
really
to.
good.
Ooh.
I know exactly what you're going for.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be Barry the Canary, or if he's just Canary, or or something like that. So I'm thinking maybe I bet he gets thrown into unknown places. Like we would definitely be. We need you to be at this bottom of this narrow man-made shaft for 6 hours and hold this light, or whatever that would be. But it would also be. We don't know what's in that cave. Send this guy. So let's do survival there. Let's put a point in there.
Andy,
Okay.
What about Finch?
I was going to suggest Finch.
Yeah,
Because
I
in
was looking at
Arrival,
that too.
they don't have canaries, they have finches and finches.
Good idea. Let's do Finch then. Let's call him
Finch is a great name.
Yeah.
Mm.
Throw Finch in the hole.
Yeah.
Oh, Finch died. Don't go in the hole.
Also, out of curiosity, Andy, what era of Bob Hoskins are you thinking?
Oh well, because he has to be sort of middle-aged. I was thinking maybe, is it Brazil when he shows up and he's knocking on the guy's door
shit.
and kind of shows up. I can't remember.
I forget what his name is, but
Yeah,
yeah, that's
same.
great.
Mhm.
I mean, he didn't get older, really. He didn't change how he looked a lot, but, like, I always forget that he's a big dude. Right?
Really?
He's well, not a tall man, but he's like an intimidating physical presence.
Right? Yeah, he's stocky. You don't want to get in a fight with him.
Did you see him in the movie with Jet Li? Was it Unleashed? He's pretty brutal in that one.
Do you know
Really?
what Bob Hoskins' character name was in Brazil?
No, what was it?
Spoor.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wow.
I
Wow.
didn't know that.
Name your character Fumets or something.
Yeah, I think I need to rewatch that film. It's very weird. My complications had some complications.
For my character, I'm toying with the name Gidget.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay.
Sounds very technical. Is that from something?
It technically is a name.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, there was a film series in, like, the
Yep.
60s and 70s.
Yeah, like it
Beach
sounds
movies.
familiar from something.
Do people just keep calling you Widget and you just get mad about it?
You just have to correct them.
I don't think I'm the type of person who gets mad.
All right.
Okay. The next thing to take care of for characters, if we feel like tackling it, and if everyone's happy with skills,
Oh yeah.
is your talent. A talent is a thing that lets you do something unusual. Sometimes they modify the way that you can use a skill. Like, for example, scientists can have a talent that allows them to use comtech to analyze samples. Right? I think officers can get a talent that lets them force people to do things. Or frequently they allow you to re-roll a certain kind of check in certain circumstances.
What about the knife thing?
That would just...
I'm mostly joking, but
I would just ask for an agility roll in that situation, or close combat.
So, for the talents, can we push if the talent lets you push?
I kind of want to encourage you to take things and not punish you for not taking, or for taking things. So I would say probably, even though synthetics shouldn't be able to push.
you can push it, but like blue smoke comes out of your ears.
So
Like-
I've got three talents, three career talents available. One of them is compassion, which lets you push empathy twice. Field surgeon lets you get a +2 on medical, and calming presence lets you reduce stress levels on other characters. So I feel like my only option is field surgeon.
Right.
Lets you get a bonus to medical aid.
There are also general talents, which are on
Okay.
page 78 of the book.
Okay.
So we're not restricted to career talents.
No. Let's say that. I don't know if I don't know if you're. I'm pretty confident that you're allowed to take those.
And how many talents do you get?
One.
One. Okay. Reckless is calling out to me, but I should look at the general ones as well.
Yeah, it says like for your career, that you at character creation you're only supposed to get the ones from your career. But if they don't work, then they don't really work.
Let's see.
Like, I feel that this can just be a house rule that we use here for synthetics, because like as Cori points out, sometimes the talents have no utility for a synthetic character.
And what reference material are you using to find these talents? I don't think I got.
In the book that I shared on page 78.
Right.
He
where
emailed
did you-
us.
He emailed us.
Yes.
I may have gone into my junk.
Oh,
or something.
That is okay, Andy. I can read them out to you if you like.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. So for a roughneck, your 3 linked talents are resilient, which is anytime you take damage, you can roll strength, and for each success, you remove damage. So you're just ludicrously tough.
Sure.
You have the long haul, which allows you to ignore stress results, like the ones on stress dice, which would normally give you like stress. That doesn't really have a utility for synthetic characters since you don't suffer from stress. And True Grit, which allows you to push strength twice, which also doesn't really do anything for you.
Okay, well, resilient then.
Yeah, or we could look through the general talents
Ah, yes.
if you like.
I guess so.
Okay, so there's Bodyguard, which allows you to take a hit from somebody else with a skill check. Calm Breather, which I don't think has a lot of utility for a synthetic, but it means you use less air. Counselor, which allows you to use command to reduce stress levels. EVA Specialist, which we'll probably not be using here, because we shouldn't be going to space. Spoilers, I guess, but we're probably not going to space.
Yeah.
Fast Reflexes, which allows you to manipulate your initiative in combat. Flyweight, which allows you to use agility rather than strength when you're fighting in close combat. Hard Hitter, you do more damage in close combat. Healer, not useful for synthetics. Hidden Stash, which means you have just more stuff. Oh, excuse me. You can have one more item. Hothead for using manipulation. You don't have manipulation unless you decide to take it.
Is there a particular kind of ability you have in mind, Andy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of-
well. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Instead of just listing all of this, and which probably isn't actually very useful because it's probably just like me droning into the microphone.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, resilient off the top seems. If I've chosen one character trait, and that's that he can be thrown in places and take some damage. So that seems to be, yeah, like from what I'm working with now. I'm guessing that I'd choose, like my gut says, choose that one.
That sounds totally great. Resilient is actually a really handy one.
Okay, we'll do it then. Resilient.
I personally am stuck between 2 options in my mind. Rapid Reload or Stealthy.
Ooh.
What does the table think?
You're a pilot?
Yeah.
I think Stealthy
Yeah, same.
seems
Stealthy.
a lot better. Rapid Reload is handy, right? You can just keep firing, basically.
Yeah.
But that is predicated on there being a lot of combat.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah,
if you take Rapid Reload, I will guarantee you a chance to use it.
I mean, one chance. I think I'll go Stealthy. Yeah. That seems like the way the wind's blowing with that, and I get that too.
Okay.
I was going to take Breakthrough, which is
Okay.
Once per game session, I automatically pass an observation roll of my choice without needing to make the roll. And in order to avoid spoiling the scenario, the GM has the final say on whether or not this talent can be used for a particular role.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. Just like, spotted ya!
You, Judith and Gray must really get along.
You're my spotter for when I'm sharpshooting.
But you can never hide from her.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, what can I say? We have synergy.
Well, so once we're comfortable with that, presuming we are comfortable with that,
I am.
we can move on to the other thing that I'd like to tackle in session 0, which is content of material. Alien is a game of science fiction survival horror. This is a colony world that, spoilers, will have aliens running around on it. Death, and quite bloody death, is kind of a hallmark of the series, as is body. So, one of the things that I can guarantee you, because of the way I've built this setting, there are no kids, no animals. Right? So we don't need to worry about, like, nobody's going to be kicking a dog because there are no dogs. Nobody's going to be hurting kids because there are no kids. I try to keep things like PG-13, so I'm not going to be going into hideously gory details about what is going to happen to people, but many of these people are probably not going to be making it to their bonuses.
I mean, what I'm thinking when you say, PG-13 is just like, this is Parker, or I think Parker like slams down the flamethrower. He's like, just found it there, no blood, no Dallas, nothing. It's like, well, that's actually more sinister.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was they cut out a scene where they go try to look for him, and they get like a you can't do that on television gore shower.
Really?
Apparently,
Yeesh.
like I just heard that anecdotally. I was like, that would have made the whole thing way lamer.
Yeah, no, especially considering how unrestricted that film's use of gore had been up to that point.
Yeah,
Right, the fact that
him just sort of disappearing is like, ooh!
Yeah. But we don't have to have this discussion here in front of everyone, but if anyone has any, like, very hard lines on what they don't want to have happen, we can discuss it here, or you can do it in private, and that is... I will absolutely respect it.
The only thing that comes to mind for myself personally, since you didn't mention animals or children being abused, because they're literally not present, is something that I think you would be very disinclined to put in anyway, which is sexual violence.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I will absolutely respect that.
yeah.
Had no plans, but yeah.
Now it's stated.
Yeah. Any other, like, hard lines from people? We don't have, again, if you can't think of it right now, but you're like later on, something comes up,
Yeah.
then yeah, please let me know.
Sure.
Otherwise, I'm pretty, like, if I was directing a film, right, it would be mop and bucket time. But since it's descriptions, right, like, I won't be going into extremely gory details.
Sure.
But if,
Like,
if I was
tell us
directing the
how
film,
many brain chips there are.
Yeah.
have you ever heard the sound effect where somebody just takes a handful of dry spaghetti and rolls it?
Yeah.
It's even worse when it's celery.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That sort of like moisture content.
Yeah, the snaps and not just the cracks.
Well, in the Foley industry, like, the assumption is that they use a lot of meat slapping, and they don't, because, well, who wants to keep that around? It's a lot of fruit. Lots of fruit.
So many
It's like-
melons.
In my first year university, some friends and I needed to blow off some steam, so we went to the grocery store and bought, like, a whole pile of things that we thought would look really cool if we ran them over with a car. Fun fact, none of them worked at all, right? Like, the jelly donuts were a complete letdown. The submarine sandwich, also, like, no good. Yeah, they all just flatten, right?
But the jelly.
You would think, like, we've all folded over the ketchup packets
Yeah.
under somebody's mom's minivan
Right?
tires. But yeah, the jelly donuts were a real letdown. the honeydew melon, though, that noise is going to stick with me for as long as I live.
Splonk.
Is it going to be making a cameo in this campaign?
If I had recorded it, it would have. But the
Yeah.
other, like, treasured sound effect for me is in Zombieland, when he hits the zombie clown in the head with a giant, like, circus mallet.
Yeah.
And that noise is a lot like the honeydew melon, only without the squeaky nose.
Oh wow.
Fantastical.
Yeah. Maybe none of you remember what a honeydew melon looks or smells like, right? It's been years.
Haven't been to a buffet in many moons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, remember buffets? What were they thinking?
Economy
Yeah.
of scale. That's what they were thinking.
I love the Onion article where it's like Princess Cruise deletes boats and instead just hosts buffets in warehouse on the quay.
Yeah, out on the piers. Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
I'm noticing a spot on here saying a signature item.
Signature
We don't.
items are a fidget kind of device for
Okay.
characters that experience stress. It specifically says that androids do not get a signature item.
Oh,
What a letdown.
I know, right? I mean, if you want one, you can have one.
do we have a
but
personal tick instead?
See, this is what I was thinking, right? Like when I saw that androids don't get stress, I had wanted to see a mechanic where maybe they do get stress, but they can't get rid of it easily, and they have to ground it out into some kind of personal tick, right? Like Ash's running in place thing
Yeah.
So
might have been
weird.
something that he used to manage, like that now he has because he accumulated a lot of stress once.
Do we have a personal agenda?
You do. I'll be supplying you with those.
Thank you.
The conceit for this game is that an alien organism has been detected on the planet, and all of your programming has been activated. The first law, and I know this because Bishop says it, is that it is impossible for me to harm or by omission of action allow to be harmed a human being. And I wanted to play around with that space a little bit.
Ooh.
As far as you know, that's still in effect.
Uh-oh.
But-
Good.
I will be providing you with your agenda. Whatever your
What that could
agenda used to
possibly
be, whatever your own personal drive used to be, it has now been replaced with something.
Buddies and rivals.
You can totally have that. Buddies and rivals are kind of like this very low-key PvP element to this game, where you can have a buddy, and at the end of a session, if your buddy accomplished something that moved them closer to their agenda, then you get XP. You can also have a rival, and if your rival failed to move closer to their agenda, you get XP. We don't have to use that. It depends on what kind of table dynamic you want. It can lead to a lot of, my feeling is that it can lead to a lot of feel bads.
Yeah.
Right.
So
but
buddies only, no rivals.
this is a good time to have that conversation.
Yeah, sounds optimal.
Like buddies only, no rivals.
Everybody takes the next person over, and we just make like a cyclotron of advancement.
I like them, but they don't like me. Oh.
I believe buddies have to be. Do you have to reciprocate buddies?
Or can you just have a parasocial buddy?
As far as I know, you can have one of each, but I don't think they have to be.
Yeah, a parasocial buddy.
Yeah, they do
otherwise known
not
as a
have to be
fan.
reciprocated.
That's sad.
This buddy system is broken.
Yeah.
Again, buddies and rivals can also change during the course of play. At the beginning of each session, you have the option of reassigning your buddy and rival.
Okay, challenge new buddy each session for one of us.
Just gonna spend a lot of time taking pictures down from my locker and putting new ones up.
Yeah.
You have a Rolodex and just like turn it to a page.
Yeah. Scratching
Today
the
I
name
stand
off
this
a
colonist.
bracelet. Yeah.
So basically, mechanically, the agenda is what you're trying to accomplish. And you get bonus XP for moving yourself closer to accomplishing that agenda. Like, if you have taken some concrete action to further your agenda during the session, despite risk or cost, you gain a bonus experience point. Otherwise, you can be governed by them as much as you want. But, the mechanical reward is there for following them.
How important is character progression in this particular setting?
XP accumulates reasonably slowly.
Okay.
So, that actually leads me into another topic that I wanted to discuss, but I forgot earlier because I don't take notes, since I'm too smart to write things down.
Wow.
Which is, how does everyone feel about character deaths? Okay.
I mean, in this kind of setting, I think that works.
Especially considering that androids are very difficult to permanently kill.
You can't kill us in a way that matters.
Yeah.
The example they give in the book is that even like completely dismembered, if the head is intact, you can be reactivated with a comtech roll. You might just be a head.
Golly gosh.
Dibs on head.
But okay, yeah. I'll play with that within the strictures that we have established around PG-13 kind of gameplay.
Yeah, I'm getting images in my mind of what you could do with that, and they're not happy. They're evocative.
Ooh.
It's not. It gets around the sort of like red blood problem because we're all full of Cool Ranch.
Yeah.
Melted ice cream.
Yeah. It's Cool Ranch because we need a heat sink for our CPU.
am so upset now.
Okay. What else? Gear. Starting gear. So ba-ba-ba. Da-ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
Shabba-da-hubba-ga, ha-da-ba-ga.
So
Sorry.
you get
If I'm right, it said your choice of 2 items from your character archetype, and it lists about
Yes.
4 items, and a
Yes, exactly.
handful of money, basically.
yes, that is correct. Choose 2 of the starting items listed below, and die 6 times one, or a certain amount of cash. So for Cori, I mean, if you've all got the book, we don't need to list it all out, right? But it's like a surgical kit or a compression suit. You can have a doses of drugs, personal med kit, or experimental drugs, a watch or a hand radio.
I like drugs.
Drugs? Drugs?
Drugs?
Drugs.
Experimental?
Drugs?
Yeah, it specifically mentions, was it doses, D6 doses experimental X drugs.
D6 X drugs. Yes.
What the heck is a Seeks and PDAT?
The personal data assistant.
So one
like
of us.
One of these.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking, because my choices are stuff like video camera or hand radio. I think, yeah, a data assistant like that, and there's a system diagnostic device.
Yeah, that would be like that's kind of like what Hudson has to hack through the door.
Yeah, that seems.
That's
Yeah,
your
those two seem
Comtech
about
tool,
right.
basically, right?
Yeah,
That was better
only
at
like your
Contact.
PDAT will be, it will be not one of these. It will be like if you asked a prop designer in the 1980s to make one of these.
It's funny you mentioned that because I did exactly that for something else. It's like it's got that sort of like beige Apple II body, like
Okay.
a big data slab.
Andy, for Roughneck, you have the option of two of four categories of items. First, the category is cutting torch or bolt gun, right? Cut something apart or fuse it together. Doses of hydration or maintenance jack. Stash of hard liquor or a compression suit. And a high beam flashlight or a magnetic tape recorder.
Don't you hate it when the person, walking behind you turns on their high beam flashlight? It's so rude.
I think
Walk
I
it,
definitely want the compression suit. And let's see, what would he use? What could he use to amuse himself while by himself in a horrible place for a long period of time?
Rubik's Cube.
Tape recorder.
Maybe a tape recorder.
Yeah.
Like a yak back, but
Yeah.
for hours of entertainment.
Yeah.
Does he just work on his accent when he's down there?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe taking observations of things, like little notes to himself. Hour 4,798, still no activity. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I love it.
Or talking to himself. That would be sad.
But you're not talking to yourself, you're talking to your recorder.
Yeah.
Maybe you're writing a
I'm sure some gaps.
screenplay, but you're doing all the dialogue yourself with different voices.
Ooh, I like that.
Wow.
Trying to make this as sad as possible. I like
But there's only enough storage for like 2/3 of it, so
Oh,
you have to
no.
like write it down and then record over your previous stuff.
That's wild.
Yeah, this is like Finch's one-man show mixtape.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
And
once
hey-
we wake up enough colonists, I can do a casting call.
I mean, somebody has to be making all those audio logs.
Absolutely.
Oh my god!
Absolutely.
Every crew member has a yak back. Or a talk boy.
Yeah. Yeah, what was that from Home Alone 2? Was that the Talk Boy?
I think it was the talk boy from Home Alone.
Good stuff.
All right. And with that, I think that's all of the basics of character creation, really. I mean, that is kind of it. There are some consumables. I'll be giving those to you. I will provide you with your agenda in a DM.
And those are secret to everyone.
You can share them with other people, but then your buddy and rivals will know, right? I think buddy and rival helps to regulate how much information characters share, right? And it promotes this kind of paranoid feel to the game. But, I mean, you don't have to keep your agenda secret.
Oh, yeah.
But it is coming from, like, a weird place. Right? You don't all necessarily know that you have new agendas. Or you don't know that each other have new agendas.
Yeah. You just wake up one day and, oh, that's not new. That's always been there.
New agenda just dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Babe, wake up. New agenda just dropped. But that was kind of everything that I really needed to handle tonight. So we can just move on to like questions, clarifications, anything that anyone needs to like or wants to ask, wants to discuss, setting tone.
I guess personality traits, because like I feel like most of us have watched the movies, and us being synthetics is going to affect that somewhat. Like, but I don't know if you had something in particular in mind about how much or how little we're going to sort of express ourselves in human-like ways.
That is largely up to you. The spectrum of synthetic behavior in the films is pretty broad.
Okay.
Ash and Call passed as human. Like they were both a little strange. Ash was stranger than Call, but they nobody really had it. Nobody's first instinct was android
That guy.
with them. So you can be as human or as inhuman as you want to be. Really.
Including in appearance?
Okay, you don't get to look like Crichton.
Yeah, no. Wayland Yutani artificial people are very human looking. Like, they pass as human pretty trivially.
Unlike Working
So-
Joes, which
Except for
kind of
Tilda
purposely
Swinton over
don't.
here.
Maybe a little too pretty in some cases.
Yeah.
It's like, that ain't right.
Bob
I've never
Hoskins,
just
man.
gotten an indication of like exactly how many lines of synthetics Wayland Yutani produces. Maybe it's seasonal, right? Or maybe each one is unique.
Yeah.
Although there is like some evidence that wait, is there more? No, all of the at least in Prometheus and Covenant, they all look the same, right? They're all Michael Fassbender.
There's
fonts.
Yeah.
also a reference in Alien 3, because, just that Bishop was based off of a real person.
Yeah, I like in Alien 3, my headcanon, that they were just like, okay, we got to reach out to Ripley, hire the actor we hired to do Bishop, and get him on the thing. Right?
Oh, dear.
We need a friendly face, but it needs to be legitimate. Anyone have any ideas?
I
The actor who played him. Right, just like a
brilliant.
bunch of coked out executives, like trying to come up with a plan that needs to be in the sky now.
These beignets are really good. Oh dear.
It'll be great. It'll be recyclable, and the kids will love it. Then we can put it on cereal. Awesome.
What the fuck? Oh man. The lines of Alien Kids toys are a little bit peculiar, if I'm honest.
Well, you got to stay marketable.
I agree.
They're not
I remember
really
seeing
kids
them.
movies.
No, they are not. They're kind of like pointedly not.
And yet,
And yet, there are like super ugly action figures of all the Colonial Marines.
They're so ugly.
Yeah. Like
Holy moly.
I remember encountering them as a kid and not buying them, and then remembering them as an adult and looking at them on eBay and thinking, oh, these are terrible. I don't want that. Now that I have money, I don't want them.
I recently saw an image on Twitter of original Disney memorabilia that they sold to children over in Japan for the movie Bambi.
Go on.
Okay.
The toy or plaything, whatever, that they were selling was none
an
other
empty
than
box
the,
of Bambi's mother.
No, the rifle.
Really?
Are you
Rifle. Yeah.
Jeez.
What the hell?
Yep. Marketing.
That is the message we got from that movie.
Yeah.
The audacity
That's
is
fucking
breathtaking.
whack.
I have no choice but to stan. whoever made that decision, like, that meeting, somebody came out and was like, the gun from Bambi.
Yeah.
We're doing it. And people were like, whoa, okay, we'll make the gun
What
from
accessories are
Bambi.
you thinking? Oh, like a pool of blood, and it mounts the like Bambi's mom figure onto it.
And all the other executives were like, that is the kind of clear thinking that we like around here at Disney.
Don't you only see like the barrels of the gun too? You don't actually see the full gun. It's been a while since I've watched Bambi, but that's my recollection.
She does get shot off camera, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
That makes
I
it
did-
even more weird.
Or you could be like me and have read the book, and then it gets a lot worse.
Oh no.
Really?
Oh, yes. There's another dear friend. Like, in Bambi in the movie, there's, like, the little Bambi and his girlfriend. In the book, there's another deer friend who gets captured by the hunter and trained to make other deer at peace so that they can be lured into a hunting trap.
Oh.
Next level. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He lives with the hunter and is raised by the hunter.
A collaborator?
Yes.
Is that deer aware of what it's doing? Does it know that it's
No.
bait? Oh,
It gets
God.
fed.
That's
That's messed up.
Yeah.
It's a ride.
Damn.
that's really, really wild.
Well, we're coming up on time here.
All right.
So
All right.
what I guess we should do is move to thanking subs.
Yeah.
Unless anyone has any questions. Anything else? Also, I'm available. I'm up until 4 a.m. most nights, so don't worry about waking me up with messages.
Yeah, I will do. And I think I'm going to bid everybody else adieu for now, but I will see you next week for the
Yeah,
Session one?
That's it. And I think this will be a good one.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this. I'm very
Yeah,
excited
send me
about it,
all
and I
your-
like all of your characters so much.
Yeah, I'll be doing the illustrations for these characters, so as much reference as you can supply will be A plus.
I solemnly swear not to repeat my mistake in Heat Death, which was to get probably more attached to your characters than you were.
You say that now.
I say that now, but when it comes time to kill you, I'm going to flinch.
So will our characters.
Awesome. All right, well, have fun. I'll see you later.
Have a good night, Alex.
Bye.
Bye.